Hello everyone, this is Hope again with Two Sisters Ministries SA. I'm going to do another segment of the Anger Solutions Tool 1. I'm going to continue with that again, and it'll be a little bit of a review, and it'll probably have some more information to it also. Also, I find it very difficult to find the places in my house to videotape, so I'm hoping that the little humming sound of the refrigerator does not distract you. And I pray that this video is going to be beneficial to you and that it's actually going to help you to learn how to deal with your anger. So going back to tool 1, I'm going to ask you, what is anger? And I am using the materials that I use for Life Skills for Living. Okay, this is what I use. And I don't stick to everything exactly like it is here for the videos, but I can guarantee you that everything that you'll get is in here. Plus, you'll also get more. I also like to encourage you to please go to lifeskillsforliving.org and go to the website. And if you can donate, please donate to our cause, because we do help a lot of people in the prison system, Haven for Hope. We also are working in the schools. Some of the other volunteers are working in the schools. So please do not hesitate to support the work that we're doing, and know that God will bless you for it. Okay, in the meantime, the videos and things that I am posting here on YouTube are for anybody to use. Anyone that can be helped by the work that we do, we are more than glad to do it. We do help a lot of people. We are a nonprofit organization. We would like some support, but anything that you can do to help us would be grateful. We'll be grateful for it, and anything that we can do to help you, of course, we are willing to do it. And I hope that these tools are going to help you. Again, this is a continuation of tool 1, and let's look at the definition of anger. What is anger? You may ask yourself where anger comes from. Well, anger is a God-given emotion. It is neither good nor bad. It is neither evil, nor good. It is neutral. Anger will start defensively. Anger expresses displeasure, and it prepares one to confront. Some people may take the fight or flight mode, or silence or violence. We definitely don't want the violence. So we have different levels of anger also that most people may not be aware of. We kind of tend to lump anger into just one entire thing, but it's not. We have different levels. We have the righteous anger, which is the Jesus type of anger. We have the non-righteous, which is avoidable. It is not too serious, and there's no force involved, but sometimes what we do is we may tend to make sly little remarks or little comments to someone because we're angry or we're upset with them, And so that is a non-righteous anger. However, there's no violence involved in that. We also have the wrath. The wrath includes the bully with the force, or the bully when he or she becomes threatening. Then we have fury, which is a repeated physical force. You've heard of the fury of the storm, or the storm's fury. Well, that's basically what we're talking about. There is a force behind it, a repeated physical force. And then we have rage, and rage is really weird. Some people have experienced it, some have not, and rage is a type of anger that reaches such a high level that the person becomes totally unaware of their speech or their actions. There is a total loss of awareness. So there you have some of the types or levels of anger. We have righteous, non-righteous, wrath, fury, and rage. Anger responses, how you respond to your anger, can come in can come in different forms. It can come in 5 basic ones. You will have, for example, an adrenaline rush. Your adrenaline will just get pretty revved up, kind of like you're on a blood rush, adrenaline rush. Like when you bungee jump, you have a specific type of adrenaline going. You have your body language where your body tenses tremendously. And then you have the breathing. Your breathing may increase quite a bit. Then you also have, your eyes. Your eyes will sometimes tell when you're angry. Your eyes might bulge out. Your eyes might get red. Everybody has different physical responses. And then you've got the muscle contractions. You start to tense up really, really bad. So you've got that going on too when you're angry. And those are all physical responses. Now, what we say to this is that when you are experiencing that physical response, you already know you're getting angry. So you have no excuse at all for continuing on that path, because those are your red flags, and you can catch yourself with that physical activity going on in your body, and you can stop yourself well before you get to any other point of anger. So there are numerous varieties of emotional responses and physical responses. I want you to think about what yours are. What are your emotional responses, or what are your physical responses? And evaluate yourself. We also have other responses, such as the spiritual responses. If you're a believer and you trust in Christ to help you change your way, the way you behave, the way you act, the way you react, what are your responses? Do you lean on the Lord? Do you lean hard on the Lord to help you to overcome this? If you do, you're headed in the right path already. You may just need some tools to help you out. If you're a non-believer and you don't believe that God can help you, or you don't want God to help you, then basically you are going to struggle a lot, because you have to have God in your life in order to help you overcome the anger that you feel. Only God can help you deal with that. Nobody else can. All right? So you have to make a choice. You're going to do it God's way. You're going to do it your way. If you've been doing it your way and it's not working for you, maybe it's time for you to reevaluate and make a choice to do it God's way instead of your way. After all, He created you. He knows exactly what you need more than you do. He knows exactly what you're going through, and He's the only one who can help you. And if you lean on Him and do it according to His ways, I can guarantee you, you will be successful. Now, we have energies of anger. We talk about this. We've got a mechanical energy that is changed into an electrical energy, and this happens because of the chemicals that we have in our system. The electrical charge then goes to a chemical holder. So I want you to look at this picture right here. You see this right here? This is a crude rendition, okay, of the path of energy. This is the chemical sac that we're talking about. And the chemicals are going to travel up here to the brain cell. That's basically all you need to remember, okay? This is a chemical sac, and the chemicals travel up to the brain cell. Okay? So keep that in mind. The chemical sac is filled with chemicals, and that mechanical energy is changed into an electrical energy. Electrical charge goes to the chemical holder, okay? And then you've got the chemical energy is released for the occasion. What do we mean by that? Well, let's say, for example, you're standing on the sidewalk or on a corner and you see a child crossing the street, and then you see a big car or truck coming. What is your reaction? What happens to the chemicals in your body at that point? Chances are your adrenaline is going to get revved up, and you're going to get ready to run and get that child out of the way. Or you run in front of the truck and you try to stop the truck. Why does that happen? Because of the chemicals in your body. Afterward, you might stand on the side of the sidewalk and you'll say to yourself, oh my God, I can't believe I actually did that. I don't even know why I did it. Well, you did it because of the chemicals that are in your body, and those chemicals were there for that specific and particular occasion. Whether you realized it or not, whether you anticipated it or not, whether you expected it to happen or not, it happens. And that's how anger is. We get angry sometimes, and we do stuff and we say stuff, and we don't even know how fast we move into this, but we can get pretty revved up in the moment, as we say. if we are unaware of the chemical changes that are occurring in our body and in our mind, in our brains, okay, through the chemical energies or the energies of anger. So we've got the energy is programmed by learned behavior. That energy is released for that specific occasion, but it is programmed by learned behavior. We also have the discharge of chemicals, and that chemical or chemicals travel at approximately 280 miles an hour. Charged chemicals produce emotions or moods. So those moods and those chemicals are what produce our emotions or our moods. Can the Holy Spirit change these energies? The answer is yes. If you believe and if you trust and if you accept and if you do it God's way. So here are some of the energies of anger. I'm going to list them for you. You have the adrenaline, and the function of the adrenaline is for energy and alertness. Then you've got endorphins. Everybody loves the endorphins. Those are wonderful. Those are for pleasure and enjoyment. Then you've got the serotonin. It's peaceful. You get that sensation of peace, and that is what helps you when you're in your REM sleep. Then you've got your dopamine, and that is a really cool one also, because you get that feeling when you get rewarded, or you get that euphoric feeling. That's that dopamine. Then you have the norepinephrine. The norepinephrine is the one that helps you when you are angry, and righteous anger, wrath, fury, and rage. This is a dangerous chemical. So people who have committed crimes in a rage are on overload on this norepinephrine. And so what we want to do for you is teach you that you've got these chemicals and these things in your system and in your body, and that you can learn to control this by using the stop word. Because when you stop and you slow down your metabolism. When your metabolism slows down, then all of those chemicals that are in the chemical sac do not rush at 280 miles per hour up into your brain cells. And so that is what's going to help you and contain you from going into some sort of rage or fury or wrath or whatever. But that's something that you have to do. Nobody can do it for you. All right, then we're going to take a look at the question, what makes you angry? What are the things that upset you, that get your goat, as we say? I have things that upset me. Things that sometimes when people try to do things behind my back and they think that I don't know. When people talk badly about the things that I value, like the Bible, God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the things of God, the foundational things of God, the Word of God, just because they don't believe, they want to talk bad about it. Those are my values. Those are my beliefs. So I tend to become defensive because, like we said, anger starts defensively. When we become angry, it's because we're defending something. We can be defending our political views. We can be defending our morals, our values, our beliefs, our family, our spouses. There are many things that we can be defending. And so we tend to become very angry when people mention or comment about it, because we feel that these things come under attack. So we have to identify anger sources. We have the subconscious and the conscious, which is the cause and the effect. We can identify anger sources in this way. Anything that attacks our self-worth. Anything that attacks or comes against our critical needs or our basic beliefs, which is the things that I just mentioned a while ago. Deep hurt, deep insecurity, or deep frustration or irritation are also anger sources. If we're feeling hurt or we're feeling frustrated, we tend to become very, very angry when we feel that we're under attack. Understand that a lot of this stuff you grew up with. You didn't get it overnight. It's part of what we call that invisible backpack that we're all born with. We can have a lot of deep hurts that have developed into the tremendous anger that we may have, that we hold deep down on the inside of us that is actually eating away at us on a daily basis. Perhaps you were abused as a child or mistreated, or you were bullied at school, or people really never showed that you were important to them, that they cared about you. And so you've got all of those deep-seated hurts and insecurities on the inside. And a lot of those are major sources of anger. So we use this, the first word is, the first tool is the stop word. And I mentioned that in the other one, we use the S is for stopping, actually physical stopping whatever activity you're doing, because this breaks the anger cycle. It slows down your adrenaline, okay? It slows down your metabolism, and it keeps those chemicals from flying into your brain and making you go loco. Then we've got the T. The T stands for think. Think. Are you thinking in a childish manner? Are you going to throw a little tantrum because you're upset and you're angry? Are you going to act like a bully? Are you going to threaten and take a physical stance and try to intimidate the person into submission, into doing what you want or how you want, or giving you what you want? Are you going to be a critical parent? Are you going to criticize and say, I've always told you never to do that. Why do you have to behave like that? How many times have I told you? Yada, yada, yada. And we all have some of that. I know I definitely do. The other one is the adult. Do you want to behave like an adult? Do you want to stop and think about, okay, we got a problem here. We need to work it out. We need to be positive with each other. Let's see what we can do to fix this. I want this to be a win-win situation. I do not want our relationship to deteriorate. So we go on next to the O, which is the O stands for open up. So if I'm thinking that I want to really mend fences, mend my bridges, I don't want to burn my bridges or my britches. I want to make sure that things work out right between me and that individual. Then I want to open up and I want to say, hey, look, I don't know what I said that upset you. Or maybe, try to figure out why that person did what they did. But we want to use safe dialogue, which we're going to go into. I want you to start looking at that person as a human. Not just your wife, not just your husband, not just your children or your employer or your next door neighbor. I want you to look at them as a human. They're just like you and they're like me and they have faults and they have shortcomings and things, and we have to begin to look at each one of us as humans. We have to look at each other as human beings and recognize that we all have a lot of imperfections. Okay? So when you begin to look at people as humans and you humanize them, then it makes it easier for you to be compassionate. Makes it easier for you to open up and say, hey, you know what? I care about what you're thinking. Please tell me what is your point of view in this situation. And then you need to be man enough or woman enough or teenager enough to admit that you're wrong. I mean, get off your high horse. What exactly are you going to get by, acting like you're superior? What are you going to get by acting like, oh, well, you don't make mistakes. Everybody else does except you. And in this situation, well, that other person's the one that's wrong. How could I ever be wrong? I'm always right. Well, I'm always right when I tell you that you're not always right. Okay? So, you got to get off your high horse. And if you want to get your anger under control, you're going to have to come to terms with yourself and come to terms with the fact that you're not perfect and that you're not always right. And your job is to control your anger because you are commanded to control your anger. And you must, because if you don't and it gets out of control, you could end up getting yourself in trouble. You'll end up making some very bad choices and you can end up in a lot of trouble, which is what you don't need, okay? So let's look at it in those terms. And then you've got to open up to the person's point of view, but in the way that you do it is when you're talking to them, open your ears and close your mouth like this. Close your mouth. Don't talk. Listen. That's what these are for. You got one on each side. See, I got one here and one here. And you do too. So you've got to open up your ears. But as you're listening, don't be listening with the intent to respond, to defend yourself. Because in that sense, that's kind of like selective hearing. And that's kind of like you're really not listening to what the other person has to say. All you care about is yourself. And so you've got to get out of that mode and open up to the other person's point of view and pay attention. And look for the validity in what they're saying. Because I have found out, in most cases, I'm not always right. Well, that's sad news for me, right? But I'm not always right. What I have found out is when I listen to the other person, if I listen carefully, I will find validity in what they're saying. And in most cases, I'll find out that because I was too quick and jumped the gun, I got upset over nothing. I shouldn't have been upset over anything. I should have been listening. If I'd been listening, I wouldn't have been upset. Because what they said and the way I took it was not at all what they meant to say. So, wake up and smell the coffee, Bubba. Okay, that's where we're at. We got to open up and listen to the other person's point of view. Now, let's look at the problem. The problem is what? Anger. Whose anger? Mine. My anger. My anger is my anger. Your anger is your anger. I don't need any of yours, and you don't need any of mine. We have enough for each one already as is. The world is full of it. There's too much of it going around. Look at all the shootings. Why are some of these things happening? Some of these teenagers that are doing this, some of these young people that are doing this, their insides are so loaded with poisonous anger. Anger that they've had. Anger that they have created themselves. Because I've noticed that a lot of teenagers, they create the anger themselves. Parents don't have to do anything. They just find a way to be angry about everything. They find a way to be angry because, well, mom won't let me out. Mom makes me take out the trash. Or mom tells me I have to clean up my room. I have to hang up my clothes. I have to do the dishes. I have to do this. I have to sweep. Well, you know what? You live there and you don't pay rent. So you should be doing something, you know. I don't care how old you are. If you understand what I'm telling you, stop being a freeloader and start putting in your part and avoid the anger issues that are going on. If you do your part and everybody in the house does their part, there will be a more peaceful home. And people will be more understanding of each other. For example, you come home from school, you're tired and you're bored, as some say, and that's because you're not stimulating your own brain, you're bored. But, you know, some people come home and they say, well, you know, I'm tired and I've been at work all day. Okay, well, guess what? If we all do our part, someone takes out the trash, someone does the dishes, someone dries the dishes, someone puts them away, someone puts them in the dishwasher, or someone unloads the dishwasher, or someone throws a load in the wash, or someone sweeps, you know. There's so many different things that everybody can do that are at different levels, different degrees of actual work. And if everybody would pitch in and do their part, everything gets done without the load falling on just one individual. If it's mom or dad that just came home from work and you're laid up watching TV or playing video games, you know what? Get your rear end off the couch and do your part and help out. And that's going to actually alleviate a lot of anger issues in you and in your parents as well, or your spouse. So all of us are responsible. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to mince my words. I have to be honest with you because I really want to help you. But you've got to want to help yourself. And it can be done. And you can be very successful. And your home can be peaceful in spite of the fact that everyone is imperfect. Okay? It can be done. You can do it. You can be a big part of launching your family forward into success. So we're looking at the problem is anger. One of the issues in our society is nobody wants to be responsible for our anger. Everyone has to be responsible for their anger. You can't blame people. You know, if someone cuts in front of me and I get angry because they cut in front of me, you know, they cut in front of me. They didn't make me angry. They didn't even know it was going to make me angry. So I'm the one with the anger issue. I'm the one with the anger problem. I'm the one that has to fix it. If something happens, somebody hits me in my car or whatever, I have a choice to be angry or to be compassionate and say, hey, you know, that person made a mistake. It just happened. I was in the way. I was in the way. It wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't been here, but it happened. It happened. So what are you going to do in getting angry? Is it going to make the dent go away? Is it going to make the debt of the dent go away? You know, is it going to make you feel better? Is it going to make the other person feel better? Is it going to fix the dent in their car? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. So there's no point in getting angry about it. Just work with the other person, work with each other and say, you know what? We all make mistakes. Just give me your name, your number, insurance, whatever, whatever. Or let me take a picture of it on the phone. And you know what? Let's just move on, okay? Unless anyone is hurt, then you may need to call an officer or whatever. But, you know, learn to keep your cool. Losing your cool is not going to help you get anywhere. So we've got the voices of anger also that we deal with. We deal with the childish child, that is always about moi. We've got the big bully, and that is also always about moi. We've got the critical parent, that is always about who? Moi. We've got the mature adult. The mature adult, it's about us. It's about me and you. How can we fix this? How can we make this better? So the mature adult with God in their lives is going to be very successful, okay? Because they're going to understand biblical parents. And we're not going to play the blame game, okay? Blame game is out. Because what we do when we play the blame game, we try to justify our anger. You have to question yourself, who's in control? Self-control is critical. You must learn self-control. When we look at Galatians 5:22 through 23, we read, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I love being in control of me, not other people, of me. Okay, so I have to focus. And if I really do it right, I've got a long life journey of learning to control myself. I don't have time to be controlling everybody else. I need to control myself. Okay, so think about it that way. So, I'm going to talk about the negative anger results, and all of you have experienced that. That's maybe why you're watching this video. If you're not watching this video because you have anger issues, that's okay. You'll learn something from this video, and you will be able to help others who have anger issues also, okay? So the negative results of anger are, the self-anger is irresponsible. You have numerous losses. Losses of profession, losses of freedoms. You have many hurts. You hurt your loved ones, you hurt your children. You have damaged relationships, families, or friends. And it affects your health. There are many types of health issues that come along with negative anger. Not to mention that it tarnishes your spirituality, especially if you proclaim to be a Christian or a follower of Christ. Losing your cool is a very ungodly thing to do. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I just want to read this one quote. It is by Anonymous. I don't know who wrote it. But it says, balance is located when anger is joined to a rational topic and discussed in a caring manner. I'll read that again. Balance is located when anger is joined to a rational topic and discussed in a caring manner. So I want you to think about that. I have an assignment for you. Yes, this is a video, but you still have homework to do. I want you to evaluate what are the things that get your goat. What are the things that anger you? The things that upset you? I want you to write them down on a sheet of paper, okay? Because you're going to need them later on when we get to the anger log. I also want you to practice being kinder, practice speaking in a more gentler voice, and I want you to definitely practice your stop word. As soon as you start getting angry, think about what you learned today and in the other video. I hope you watch the other video first. But I want you to think about the use of the stop word. Stop. It keeps your metabolism from going nuts. and the chemicals from running into your brain driving you crazy with anger. The T is for think. Think about how you're going to react. Are you going to be a bully? Are you going to be a critical parent? Are you going to be a childish child? Or are you going to be a mature adult? Then I want you to open up to the other person's point of view. And I want you to recognize that P is for the problem. What's the problem? Your anger. Okay? So, I say all this to you in love. I pray and I hope that this has helped you. This has been a blessing. Please write your comments or send us an email or something. Again, this is Hope Garza with Two Sisters Ministries, S.A. We love you. We want to help you. We cherish you. We pray and believe that all of our viewers who watch our videos are blessed and that their lives are enhanced, because that is the reason that we do what we do. We love you and may God bless you.